My most humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Sairam to all. In my previous video, I told you about how Swami gave us interview and he was so excitedly explaining about the summer course to be held that year in May. It was also after my spinal surgery, and Swami told me that I should go home, take rest for a few days, and then come directly to Whitefield to attend the summer course. In this interview, I already said how Swami asked the name of my fiancé, Devdas, and how Swami made fun of me. He is normally called Babu, that is his nickname. Everybody calls him Babu. Very few people call him by his name, Devdas. Swami used to call him Devdas. Anyway, in that interview, Swami asked me, will your husband come for the summer course? I said, no, Swami, of course not. Why will he come? And Swami said, no, he will come. Then I was arguing with Swami and I said, no, Swami, he won't come. I will tell him not to come. And Swami laughed and he said, yes, he will surely come. I had forgotten about this when I went home. I met him a few times while I was in my house, and he told me that he has made plans to come to Whitefield and pray for an interview, and if Swami gives him an interview, he would ask Swami to fix the date for our marriage. And I very stupidly forgot about what Swami had said, and I also agreed to this plan. Then I came back to Whitefield to attend the summer course on 6th of May. This was the day Mother Ishwaramba had passed away. It was a commotion. Swami was making all arrangements for the funeral. But Swami was also actually comforting the devotees who were all in tears. So I came and joined the summer course, and Swami came up to me in the middle of it and he asked me, Vandacha. He said, very good. And he said, how many ice creams did you eat? And I just smiled and said, Swami, a few. And the summer course was going on. So every day we were attending it. We were given a hall to stay outside near the darshan grounds. You know about that Sairam shed and all that. So there were a few houses on one side of it. And we girls were given accommodation in one of those houses. So the summer course went on. We were hearing many speeches by the professors who had come, and every day evening Swami gave his beautiful discourse, and this was going on. One day after the classes, when we were going back, I was going back to the room, I saw that Babu had come and he was sitting under one of the trees. So when I saw him, I went up to him and I spoke to him for a little while, and he said he has come to ask Swami to fix our marriage. And I said, okay. I just spoke to him for a few minutes and I went back to the room. But in the night, one of the madams came up to me. She was the vice principal. She came up to me and she said, Swami is very angry and annoyed that you spoke to a boy in public. So I don't know what Swami will decide. He is very, very upset with you. I didn't know what to say, and I went back. I couldn't sleep the whole night. I thought, oh my God, what was Swami going to do? So the next day morning, as usual, the classes start around 9, and we all go inside the big shed that is behind Swami's residence. So while I took my books and I was going, all the students were given a badge, those who were attending the summer course. I also had my badge pinned to my sari, and when I went to the entrance to go inside, one of the volunteers who was standing there, he said, you're not allowed to go in, please hand over your badge. I was in shock, I didn't expect this, but I had no choice. I took out the badge and gave it to him. And since I was not allowed to go inside, I walked back to the room that we were given. And I was sitting there and crying. And my friend Beena, her mother had also come, and she was staying in the same hall that we were provided. So she asked me what happened, and I said, this is what happened. Swami has thrown me out of the summer course. I don't know what to do, auntie. So she said, you do one thing, you sit and write a letter, and then we will go and sit in darshan when Swami comes out now. So when the summer course classes start, then Swami would come outside and give darshan as usual to the public that were all assembled on the ashram grounds. So I quickly wrote a letter asking Swami to forgive me, and I told him I would never do such a thing again and all that. So I had this letter ready, and with auntie we both went and sat in one of the blocks where Swami comes by. In a few minutes, Swami came out of Swami's residence and started to walk down towards where the devotees were all seated. From a distance itself, he looked at me. He was not looking, he was actually glaring at me. And then when he came near where I was seated, he said very harshly, move. So that, auntie and I, we moved to either side, so that Swami could walk in between and go. And he didn't take my letter. He just glared at me, and he walked down to give darshan to the public. So after the darshan, I went back to the room and I was sitting there and crying. I was not even allowed to go inside the whole day. And when it was lunchtime, later on, one of my madams, Pushpa madam, she went up to Swami and she said, Swami, Jayashree has not eaten anything. She has not had breakfast or lunch. She is only a child, Swami, doesn't have any sense. Please forgive her, Swami, please call her back. And somehow Pushpa madam intervened for me, and Swami relented and said, okay, ask her to come inside and have her lunch and attend the summer course. So some student was sent to inform me, and I was taken inside. I was served lunch, which I didn't want to eat much, but anyway, the afternoon session was starting, and I went and sat right at the back. During these sessions, Swami would walk around, talk to the students, and very often he would sit at the back near some of the boys, and he would be passing comment and having fun as usual. So when the session started, Swami came to walk around, and I was right at the back. So Swami came near me, and he asked me in some language that I did not understand whether I would do it again. And I nodded my head and said, yes. And Swami said, what? You will do it again? And he said, Inka chastava atla, will you do it again? And I said, no, Swami, I will never do it again. Swami, please forgive me. And then he looked at me, and then he slowly walked away. And a few days after that, I kept on writing letters asking Swami to forgive me. Swami was ignoring me, not talking to me. The usual the freezer treatment, the students say when you are put in an ice box, Swami just totally ignores you until he makes up his mind to forgive you and you're back to normal. Swami didn't forgive me for the last 3-4 days, didn't take my letter, didn't smile at me. None of the usual things happened, and I was very depressed. And I was just keeping to myself, not bothering to talk to anybody. Then the previous day before the summer course was concluding, Swami announced that he would take photographs with all the students. So it was like in groups. The students from each state were called, and they would stand around Swami behind him and onto the sides, and Swami had a chair placed in the center, and the photograph would be taken so that all the students got a copy and they could cherish this moments with Bhagavan for the whole month of the summer course. It was the turn of our girls from Anandapur to have the photo taken. So I went and stood somewhere in the 3rd or 4th row at the back, Swami wasn't talking to me, right? So I was not fighting to find a place in the front next to him. Then Swami came and he sat on the chair, and then he looked around, and when he spotted me, he said, come here, Durna Pota, ikade, ra, he said, come here, come and stand next to me. And I was, I slowly came down and I stood right next to him. and the photograph was taken. So all is well that ends well. Finally, Swami smiled at me, and I knew that I was forgotten. This was the big punishment and the reward during the Samoka's time. Please like, share, subscribe to my videos, and please share it with your devotees friends. It gives me so much joy to speak about Swami and relive all those beautiful moments with him. I hope the people listening to this will also share in this precious memories of Bhagavan. Sai Ram, Swami bless you all.